Technology don't play no games. Here we go. Live. All right. We should be up and live, ready to go. Nice. Nice. Let's just check all the feeds. We are live on LinkedIn and YouTube, so I'm just gonna look real quick, make sure that that's going.
No.
Yep, there we are on LinkedIn, YouTube. Last week, we had a little bit of a snafu with the LinkedIn feed, but it looks like we're going good now. Let me get ourselves together here, hide some things, and boom. We'll be getting started soon. So yeah, we if you're just joining in, if you've seen some of our past live, I think this is our fifth time going live on a weekly basis. We're getting into a rhythm. Uh, our we have a special guest, so I'll get into who Joshua is on the screen momentarily. So I'll introduce our special guest, discuss why Denise Snuffy is not here. I'm a little bit, little jelly of her. She is away in the sun. So I'm not going to say where her destination is because she may not want me blowing up her spot, but she's somewhere relaxing, chilling, hopefully, and having a good time. Um, so we have a special guest host sitting in her absence, and because of that, we're going to go in a different direction than we typically go when we do our lives. We over the last four lives we've been talking about industry news, etc. But I think this time we're going to take it in a different direction and talk more about, um, the company, the journey, myself, and being an entrepreneur and how that's been. Things that I've learned. Joshua has his own perspective, his own experiences to share with the community too. So we're going to go in that direction today, and then stick around. We do have, and this is something that somebody asked for, and voila, the universe just really made it happen for us very quickly. So we're really proud to announce that we'll be able to accept pay overtime payments from people. I know that was something that someone was looking for. So I'll get into more detail about how can you save on the Model 4E, and then how can you also reduce the monthly payments and make it more attractive to your budget, your grow budget that you have. So we'll get into that. But we've been on for a couple minutes. Everybody knows we're on live. All right. Are you ready, Joshua, to actually, before we begin, Joshua, if most people may not know, Joshua Byrd is also my brother. And so we have a very personal relationship. He's, uh, you know, he's been my like day zero. I can't even say my day one. Like Joshua has been before the very beginning, always been a huge supporter, and that's nice because not everybody can say that their siblings are that close and that supportive of one another. But he and I hold each other up, and lean on one another. Where I might have some strengths, he has, and we complement our strengths, complement one another. I think really nicely. So I wanted him to come on and sit in for Snuffy G. So this is Joshua Byrd. But before we get into like talking about the journey, um, and talking about yourself, because I want people to know who you are and what you're about, let's talk about the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
unfortunately did not get a chance to see the game,
Okay.
but I know that you did. So
Yeah.
you know, can you give me a little bit of a breakdown of what happened last night?
Yeah. All right. So first and foremost, I'm from Philly. We're both from Philly.
That's
So
right.
I have to say this first and foremost. I'm happy that the Sixers are now doing what they got to do.
We weren't supposed to.
Now,
Okay. All
let's
right.
be clear with
Go
you.
ahead. Do your thing. Do
Celtics,
your thing.
with the Celtics, I'm also really happy to see that they're handling business. Al Horford, he came in big, big last night.
Are you giving Al Harford props today? Because the last
Yes,
time you and I watched the Celtics game together,
I was mad.
you were hating on him.
Yeah, because when he was with the Sixers, it wasn't looking too good for him.
Hmm.
Definitely let me down for sure when he was with us. But last night came in really big, but he's been really consistent this entire playoff run. And I mean, he has my full respect back, I would say. But the Celtics are handling business at this point in time. So I'm excited to see them really finish the job. At the end of the day, they got to finish the job.
Mm.
Um, Coming back, I think they're back home and they play tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
in Boston. So got the momentum. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. But even before the playoffs, I've been saying it's going to be the Sixers versus the Celtics. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That's
That
what
would
I'm.
be fun. Our family would have a good time with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, our mother also likes to watch basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Um, since she was a young girl in high school, running
Yeah.
off to watch basketball games in New York. So, you know, she's
Mm-hmm.
she's hardcore. Josh was hardcore. I love basketball too. I don't think I'm as hardcore as the two of you though. Used
No,
to
it
be,
gets
but
intense.
yeah, used
It
to
gets
be.
intense.
But no, so hopefully I'll be able to catch it on Thursday. You said it's what, tomorrow night?
I think it's tomorrow night. I know the Sixers play tonight. Definitely gonna catch that game. Play in Miami. Got to
Mhm.
handle business. Went on the road. But I think the Celtics play tomorrow, based on how like the schedule's been falling. So, um, yeah, tomorrow at 7 is Game 5.
Okay. Well, we'll see. At 7. I mean, I need to be in bed by like 9:30. So
Okay.
that's also the issue for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, since we're gonna get started, let me switch it up. So like I mentioned, we have our special guest co-hosting today, Joshua Byrd. Um, and he's also been a member of Team Trella, not just supporting from the outside, but also supporting from within. You know, uh, we had a product drop off this weekend that didn't go quite the way that we wanted, but we'll talk about that because that's what happens when you do. You know, when you have a goal, you got a destination. I had a destination. I did not get there quite the way that I thought I was going to. You didn't either. Um, but but we got it. We got it done. So yeah,
Mhm.
Joshua's been helping out, and is done trade shows. You've been there, helping out with some of the trade shows
Mhm.
here in New England. So I wanted to bring you back, and but first, before we get into the journey, that's what we want to talk about. Can you give us a little bit more about who you are um, and
Mhm.
what you're all about?
I'm all about um, really what I'm all about is how to establish myself and the family long term, and then from there try to help other people do the same thing. So right now, what I do is I work with kids in education, and one of my biggest things is trying to open their minds to what they can achieve. The way I do that is by not only just like telling them what they can do, but also now going through my own journey on showing them, hey, everything I told you was not just me telling you. Now look at what I'm doing. Look at what I have achieved. Look how far I've come. And you saw the seats where I was sitting in. So if I made it to a certain level, you can do the same thing. So that's really what I'm about. Generational wealth, which comes in multiple forms, right? So it's not just financially, that's a big part of it, but it's also unlocking your mind. Because I know for a fact, especially at this point in my life, that you start to break certain bondages that you have in your mind, you can start opening so many other doors. It's a lot of freedom in that.
Mm,
That's what I'm really about. Really for the young kids, but just for anyone I come into contact with, if we start to have that kind of conversation or whatnot.
right,
Yeah,
right.
so
Yeah. So and you're not into growing. That's not your thing. So right, like you're not into farming yet. That might change. Who knows?
yeah,
But
mhm,
you're more on the finance, the strategy, the leadership side of things.
yeah,
That's where I find you.
yeah, for sure, for sure. It's like, and I know we'll get more into it, but Something that when it comes to their journey, the overall, like, the vision is one thing. The vision gets you started. The vision, puts the ideas in place on, like, all right, well, this is what I expect, or this is what I'm working towards in my life. How do I get there? You start moving, you start getting active, and that starts to get your mind moving on, like, oh, well, I could probably do this, I could do that. Well, that didn't work, but this definitely works. So for me, I was, I've had my ups and downs in college, but I feel that the more serious I got on what do I really want to do,
Hmm.
and not so much of just what do I want to do, but what is going to fulfill me, like, deep down, what will truly satisfy my life. Start to really find different ways that does that for me. And now I finally found something that, even when I was in high school, I'll say, I used to imagine myself getting on different flights or going to different places and just having my cell phone and my laptop and being able to do business, being able to make money. And I didn't know exactly what that meant until years later. So for the last 2 years, I just been studying the markets. Me and my some of my closest friends been studying markets to be profitable day traders, and you know it's a blessing because now actually going through my own journey, developing my own minds, and then getting into day trading, you start to really see, well, there's a different side that I wish I was exposed to at a younger age. But everything
Hmm.
happens for a reason. But yeah, definitely finance um, unlock the door, just because if I'm trying to create generational wealth, and like I said, it's not just financially, but that's definitely a big part of it. How does that actually look for me? Does
Right.
that mean real estate? Does that mean just investments, or what kind of investments? So
Or a little bit of everything.
a little bit of everything.
That's the best method, in my
Diversification,
opinion. Yeah.
diversification, right? So yeah, I mean, for me, day trading and my guys were just really dedicated to making that our main thing, and studying, having different courses, and being very serious about it. Next up is actually getting funded by this company, Top Tier Trader. Not to really go too deep into it, but it's serious at this point. And when you get so close to something, you start to taste it. That's where we're at this point.
Nice.
So
Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's it right there. So, let's jump into. We'll switch it up to the journey.
mhm.
Now that everybody knows who you are, and let me also share one other thing that might help to visually show what the journey is.
Yeah,
So when we're talking about the journey, we could take this in a couple different directions, Joshua. And basically, what's going to happen is I'll let you kind of lead me through the discussion. One of the things that Joshua helps me with is coming out of my shell, and um, you know, there'll be times where I'm recording a video and Joshua's there, and he'll tell me, "Hey, just talk or slow down," and just be you, be you. So as we go through the journey, sometimes when I'm doing my pitch and I'm going through this stuff, I just fly through it because I don't, I'm looking at it from my perspective, and I want to maybe slow down and explain and express
Mhm.
what the journey's been for us, and also for people who are looking to become investors in our company. One of the things they say is it's really the founding team. Like, who are the founders? What drives them? So if I don't show you who I am, you'll have a false perception. So I have to do a better job at opening up, sharing who I am, what I'm about, so that we get connected with the right type of people. And we're starting to. I think that the more that I'm opening up, the more that the right people are starting to reach out, and we're starting to make those connections. So I know that if I leverage that and ramp it up, you know, uh, in a small amount, it'll be beneficial to everybody. So
Mhm.
um, let's begin. I know you wanted to ask some questions, so I'll let you do your thing.
Yeah. First things first, just looking at the timeline, November of 2016 is when it was founded, started. right? And January of 2022, first delivery, right? So
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, because I've watched different movies, I've been tapped into a lot of interviews on just people who I look up to and just trying to get perspective. How do you stay patient, yo? Because oh my gosh, that's something I have to work on my overall patience. How do you personally stay patient during this time frame?
I don't even know that I say I stay patient.
Mm-hmm,
I'm not patient. Like inside, I'm sometimes frustrated
mm-hmm,
that we're not where I would visualize us to be. Um, I think it's working through that, and I do have this internal thing that I say to myself at times that is patience is currency. Patience is currency.
mm,
Um, and that sometimes things that come so quickly leave very quickly as well.
yeah,
So I try to remember that just because it's taking longer doesn't mean it won't work. Just because it's taking longer does not mean that it won't work.
mm,
It means that I'm building a good foundation. Like I just try to readjust the thoughts in my head from we're not where we want to be to yes, but look what you've done and look what you've built so far.
yeah,
And I need reminders of that. It's not just like sometimes my family has to remind me, my friend, my team,
mm-hmm,
my advisors. I've got some really great advisors, board members right now that we didn't have in 2021. I have them now in 2022, and I'm thankful for each and every one of them
yeah,
because they'll remind me too of you've done a lot and we've produced a lot over the last 6 years, and every leaf on this little timeline thing it's like a big hurdle that I had to probably jump over
mm,
to get to the next step. That's how I look at them.
okay,
Like I'm playing Mario Brothers, trying to jump over all these leaves to get to the end.
uh,
But that's how it's been.
okay, yeah. That's interesting because like you just said it, like you had to get over these leaves. Now I'm looking at them now. Oh yeah, how that might have been a hurdle. What comes to my mind too is you know not so much staying patient, but the development, right? So if you had to jump over that like the very first leaf, right under November of 2016, it's not as big as the leaf that's right underneath April of 2020, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You had to gain some kind of strength, some kind of grit in order to hop over that, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
know for a fact, shoot, sometimes the overthinking factor
Mm.
might trip you up. Not just you, but in general. It might
Yeah.
trip people
And
up.
me, and me.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like, just in general, it will trip people up because I know sometimes I might think to myself, oh man, like, well, that trade didn't go as expected, or that last trade I had, that was great, but can I do it again? Right. Certain things that I might be thinking to myself that I know there's a lot of people when they're going through this overall journey, however it may look, whatever industry, it takes a lot of overall development because I guess the part that's really important is yeah, we think about getting to the destination, but if you get there too soon, can you actually sustain it?
Mm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
know you're one of those individuals who prepares, right? Make sure that you have your feet in place, that you have that good foundation, like just talked about. But is it for you? Was it something that really triggered in your mind that was like, all right, I think I'm ready to take this big leap to get over whatever it may have been for you? Was it something that was like, you know what, I know I can do this now. Like I'm definitely at a different level.
Hmm. I don't think that there was. I can't think of like any one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think if you're looking at the first leaf, like starting out, just getting your first prototype built.
Yeah.
Some people can't say that they can't check the box on that.
Mm-hmm.
In a hardware company, or some sort of product that you're looking to even get a patent on. A lot of people struggle just with that first step of getting a prototype made. Um, I think because I had done that on a couple of other like startups, I felt confident that okay, we can get a prototype built. For me, it was, I would say, leaf, uh, right around 2019 was when I started to get out of my comfort zone.
Mm.
And it was when I had to start thinking differently, because we had people on the team. We still have people on the team. Dre, co-founder, strong in engineering.
Mm.
I'm an engineer. So for us, developing the product, building the product, was not. It wasn't hard for us to say we could do that, because we had that experience. We had built that muscle. What was hard for us to do, and we still struggle with, is how do you get people to buy it? Like, how do you sell it? How do you market it?
Yeah.
And I think that was the part where that's where the hurdles. I tripped on a few hurdles. And I used to run track and actually like have to do those hurdles. So literally, like, I skinned my knees,
Yeah.
fell over a few of the hurdles,
Yeah.
trying to figure this out, and we're still figuring it out, but we are making progress. I think
Mhm.
I can't think of one exact moment when it was like, yeah, I know I can do this. The other thing, when you were talking about the question, is you don't, like, sometimes you think you know what it takes to get to a destination, but you really don't. I mean, if you've never really done it
Mm.
yourself, you don't really know what it takes. You can look at other people and see that they've had the successes. You can hear them talk about it on social media or share little tidbits of their day, like we're doing now.
Mm.
But and they're helpful, so that's why we people do it. But
Mhm.
going through it, you don't really know what it takes. I think if you're trying to visualize and meditate and manifest, and with whatever type of, pray about it, whatever type of wording you want to use, it's great to visualize what that looks like. But the process and what it takes and the strengths that you have to have and the weaknesses that you're going to have to work on,
Mhm.
you think you might know what they are, but you don't.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
until, until you're getting over the hurdle and you're like, oh, this is why I should have, gotten over that XYZ issue. Because
Yeah.
now I gotta deal with it now. So
Mm.
yeah, you can't run through these things.
Mm.
you,
Got you.
you can try,
Mhm.
but you'll be exhausted, or you'll wind up being at the wrong destination.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
What's coming to my mind now is to ask you this: if you had 3 gems, right? 3 gems that you would give to your younger self for this 6-year journey, what would you give?
Mm, trust.
Hmm.
That would be one gem. Um, uh, Definitely. Well, I was going to say some sort of a gem that I could sell for capital. The cash. Because
Yeah.
obviously it's great to have a lot of, like, having capital in a business is, you can't do it without it.
Yeah.
Um, and we've had not as much as most hardware software companies have had. Most companies have gotten to this stage have probably raised about $2 million, and we've raised 600,000 because we made a decision to use crowdfunding, and wait for those bigger investors until a later stage.
Mm.
So, I would say that, I guess I'll say, wow, that's a good question. Three, all I can think right of now is trust. That's a huge one. Um, trusting your help, trusting team members.
Mhm.
The other one would be, yeah, I'm stuck on capital. So I'm throwing that one back in. Gem, capital, some sort of a ruby that I could maybe switch over into cash.
Mhm.
Um, and then the last one would be, um, some sort of a gem that would help with focus.
Mm.
Yeah, I I think, some people might say, like, I have a lot of different interests. If you look at the books that I read, they
Mhm.
span from politics, religion, sci-fi, self-improvement,
Mhm.
finance, uh, because I like to learn a lot of different things,
Mhm.
and get different perspectives on all of them. And when you're trying to do something and trying to get to a destination, sometimes you can get distracted.
Yeah.
So, I would think a little bit more focused. But honestly, like I don't know that I want to have my little self change how she moved through the world.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit of a little less pain. Get a couple of gems to help with the pain, but I think the lessons needed to be learned.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like when you say pain and the gems that have been learned, I mean, of course you benefited from it, right?
Right.
Do you think that trust would have helped you through the pain?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, to an extent, it's I have a hard time when people say one thing and do something else.
Mm.
And ever since I was a kid, I watch people and I watch what they say, I watch what they do, and if the two aren't like congruent, then I'm like,
Mm.
I don't know. And a lot of people, unfortunately, even I do it sometimes, don't do what they say,
Mm.
and it's not because they're a bad person. It's just because they're human.
Mm.
And I think sometimes my prejudgment is, oh, can't trust you. You're gonna fuck up.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that no, you do the same thing sometimes. I mean, we're all mirroring each other. Like the things that I get upset about in someone is probably because I'm upset with myself about the same thing.
Yo, that's a fact, yo. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's a
So,
preach.
nah, I
Preach.
guess I'll get off my soapbox. But no, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it trust would trust would help. It helps you to build that community, and that great foundation. So yeah, I've been working on that over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. No, it's about to be 12:30 pretty soon.
Mm.
Um, but my last question is this: as of right now, you might say something, might spark something else real quick. But um, when it comes to the community that has been built over the last 6 years, what do you appreciate most? Just because for me, trading is very is the individual, right? What you have chose to do going into this industry, the business you have created, you have to connect with people,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
What do you appreciate most about the community that has been created?
People, we're the community that we're surrounding ourselves around are a bunch of people that think differently. Like if I look at every team member on the deck, their backgrounds are different. They think different. They do what they do differently than other people in the industry.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm glad to surround myself with people who are rebels. They kind of go against the grain, outside of
Mm.
the box, and those are the people that are just, I guess, naturally I'm attracted to. They're attracted to me.
Mm.
Um, so it's been fun to explore. I mean, there's been a couple of new relationships that we've been making with people who have a lot of support, a lot of great ideas, and it just helps to strengthen the company.
Yeah.
But and it, there's in the farming, the agricultural, the cannabis industry, and this is something I was talking to a gentleman the other day about this, and we were saying, well, what's one of the biggest hurdles that we have to overcome when it comes to trying to spread the Trella Grow LST method, like trying to get people to understand what it is that we're trying to do. Is people are very comfortable where they are. There's not a pain point right now,
Mm.
especially for some people
Mm.
in the cannabis space. It's a cash crop. You make a lot of money if you basically make sure that your expenses are less, than your are under control. You're doing good.
Mm.
But the industry is not as competitive as it can be. I mean, not every state is operating. It's not at a federal level. So we're in the cushy years of cannabis cultivation right now, where
Mhm.
you know it's easy to. I don't want to say easy because it costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time, but it's a well marketed product that all you got to do is just grow it and put it on a shelf, and someone's going to take it. Um, the better the quality, the more people are going to take it. But
Mhm.
once things get competitive, that's going to shift. So nothing, nothing stays the same. So I like working with people who think ahead of the game, and don't look at the current, processes and currently what we're doing and think, oh, that's the way that it should be done. And aren't open to trying to do things going in a different direction or trying something outside of the box. So it's been great to connect with those people because they're out there. We're starting to find them, people that are really trying to figure out how can technology take all of this to the next level, because we're going to need it, and not just for cannabis, but we're going to need it for food too, especially for food. So,
Got you.
yeah.
No, it's 12:30 at this point in time.
Oh yeah, we got to wrap up soon. Do you have anything else that you wanted me to touch on before we end? I did want to talk a little bit about some Trella related stuff before we end, but anything else?
But I just want to hear the updates, yo. Talk to me.
All right, sweet. So one of the things that you can do if you have not yet, if you've been following us, checking us out, learning about what we're doing, and you haven't become an investor, please do. We use the crowd to continue this timeline that you're seeing on the screen right there. All of that was done by either the co-founders or the community. That's what's gotten us across, through all those hurdles that we were talking about a little bit earlier. Every leaf on that timeline is a hurdle that we had to overcome. And we did it with the help of the community, and that's how we're going to continue to do it. So if you're interested in becoming an investor, not just a donation, it's actually becoming, having some sort of ownership. Please check us out at wefunder.com. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. And then the other thing that we want to mention, because this is time related, some people have been looking at our technology, trying to figure out how can they. Let me just switch this up real quick. There you go. Trying to figure out how can they try it. And let me just scroll down, because we've got 3 different models right now, and I gotta really zoom in on this one. There we go. Ooh. We have 3 different models that we offer. We started out with 2, Model 4 and Model 6, but we also have the Model 4E, which is really great for residential growers that are trying to control their plant in small, tight spaces. If you're growing in a grow tent, if you're growing in a closet, or you want to stack them on shelves in a small space, the Model 4E is great to start with. And what we did is we brought it down so that it had a much lower price point. So the Model 4E, it starts at $1,700, but we are doing a discount for $300 off on the Model 4E. And another thing, and we'll be sending out a newsletter to everybody who's on our newsletter. If you're not, check out Trella.io and go and sign up for our newsletter. But we'll be letting everyone know on our email blast, our newsletters, that you can now also pay over time. So instead of having to pay not $1,700, because with a discount before May 15th, it'll be $1,400. Instead of having to pay $1,400 up front, you can break that up over 4 months, 12 months, however it works for your budget, and spread that payment out. Our other units are, also available. So if you're interested in those, if you're more of a commercial grower, looking to get into automation, looking to figure out how to stack your mother plants and control the height of your mother plants. A lot of people don't know they can do that, but with our technology, you can. So if you're looking to stack your mother plants, try the Model 6. But if you're looking for automation and controlling that height automatically, maybe you grow in a container somewhere, or maybe you grow remotely and you can't be there all the time, or maybe you just want to reduce your operating costs and save on some of that, the Model 4, the Model 6 are perfect for that. So definitely go to Trella.io or shop.Trella.io and check out our website. And then you can also get the Model 4E for a nice discount, and then break down those payments even further if that's what you need to do with your budget. So that's it. That is it.
Cool.
Yeah. But no, thank you for sitting in for Snuffy G. She'll be back next week. And then who knows, maybe Joshua will be back again. We do have Snuffy will be away again. She's a very busy woman. So we'll have another opportunity for maybe Joshua to sit in. And we'd love to hear comments about, today's weekly. Please let us know what you think, where you're listening in from. What do you want to hear more about? Like I said earlier, if you're looking to, either buy a product from a company or invest in a company, you really want to know who is the person behind that company. What are they about? So we're using these lives to make sure that we give you the opportunity to know who we're about, what we believe in. And yeah, so if you've got questions, comments during some of these lives, please chime in and let us know. All right,
All
that's
right,
it.
cool.
All right, well, at peace, Matt, love everyone. Have a good one. All right.